Guys, we're alive again. Can you believe it? Can you freaking believe it? We are waiting for the conference. The most important part that I skipped the last time. Now it's the sound. Now it's okay. I know. Everything is working now. I just need, I'm tired of everything of that, of the useless talks, of everything useless, of just need to pump out the chat. Still waiting for the conference to start, the press conference. I hope I'll be on time setting out the stream completely, because I need to pump out the chat and make chat accessible for everyone. The most important thing, I think, is the conference itself, right? I just finished editing the video. It's available on Spotify. After the stream, we'll publish it on my main channel. About the front lines, the move that the Ukrainian army did, it was really nice, this move. To withdraw the forces finally. Without losses, they managed to do it. It's fantastic. Really masterpiece operation. What can I say? Okay, we have the comments ready. Okay, and finally, let's go to the short brief. That's the White House. Oh shit, they're already talking. Why I don't have the sound?
100% agreed. US, Europe, Ukraine security guarantees almost agreed. Military dimension 100% agreed. Prosperity plan being finalized, and we also discussed the sequencing of the following actions. And we agree that security guarantees is a key milestone in achieving lasting peace, and our teams will continue working on all aspects. We also had a joint productive call with European leaders, like President Trump said already, and a lot of leaders, including NATO and the EU. And we agreed that our teams will meet in upcoming weeks to finalize all discussed matters. And we agreed with President Trump that he will host us, and maybe in Washington, European leaders and Ukrainian delegation, yes, in January. And Ukraine is ready for peace.
Okay.
And once again, would like to thank President Trump for a warm welcome and substantial discussion. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Any questions, please?
The first ambition from President Zelensky, 90%, 100%. The U.S. Ukraine security guarantees. What number are we at right now?
Well, I think look, you can say 95%, but I don't like to say percentages. I just think we're doing very well. We're
doing very well.
We could be very close. There are one or two very thorny issues, very tough issues, but I think we're doing very well. We made a lot of progress today, but really we've made it over the last month. This is not a one-day process.
So there is no
very
signature,
stuff,
They just made the progress.
When the president says 95, I think, could be close to 95%. Yeah,
95%. The same as before, actually. Was told before. Free trade zone on Donbass. Just a bullshit.
The word agreed is too strong. I would say not agreed, but we're getting closer.
We are getting closer,
and that's a big issue.
Zelensky will never agree on
issues, and I think we're closer than we were probably. It's unresolved, but it's getting a lot closer.
This meeting is pretty pointless. Nothing going to change.
Issue,
I agree.
but one that I think will get resolved.
Dean, I agree with you.
We are receiving some mixed signals coming from Moscow, even after this talk. Can you assure us that you have received written or any formal response from them?
Well, what was the issue? You have to tell me. What did they say?
They are telling that Ukraine has to give up very recent statement.
Well, that's what they've been asking for, and there's a dispute about that. So they're going to have to iron that out. That's an issue they have to iron out. I think it's moving in the right direction. If something doesn't happen, You mean if something doesn't happen? Yeah, go ahead.
May I ask
No, go ahead. You were going to finish your question? Well, we'll see. Look, we'll see. But I don't want to talk about that because I think we're getting pretty close. Yes, please.
may I ask the President of Ukraine,
Please.
Yes, about territorial question. Mr. President, what is your take on Donbas status? Are you prepared to see it as a free economic or demilitarized zone?
No, we spoke about 20 points plan, and I'm happy that really our teams very close to results, and I agree with President.
He was
Trump
asked
today.
about Donbas.
Our teams work not one day and not one week, more than 1 month, beginning from Geneva, then 2 meetings in Miami, then we had Berlin, and now we have
very
Mar-a-Lago.
calm
So this is a very
voice.
difficult question. You know our position, so it's this we have to respect our law and our people, and we respect the territory which we control. And of course, our attitude is very clear. That's why President Trump said this is a very tough question, and of course we have with Russians different positions on it.
And have you discussed referendum about
No, when we speak about referendum, we spoke that it's one of the key. We can have referendum on any kind of points of this plan. I said that we can use referendum like for the plan, or we cannot use referendum. It's one of the key. We can use, this possibility of parliament to vote according to the law or to have referendum. Doesn't matter. This referendum, if the plan will be very difficult for our society, very difficult, of course our society has to choose and has to vote, because it's their land, the land not of one person, it's the land of our nation for a lot of generations.
They'll probably have to get their plan approved by Parliament or by referendum of the people. You would think that they want, I know they had a poll that it's 91% in favor of ending this war, so they want to end it like everybody wants. Russia wants it ended, everybody wants it
But it
ended.
doesn't mean that
and we
Ukraine
want
wants
it
to
ended.
surrender
I
the
want it ended
territory.
because I don't want to see so many people dying. We're losing massive numbers of people, the biggest by far since World War II. So we want to see it ended, absolutely.
President
Yes.
Trump, you said at the top that you plan to speak again tomorrow. Is that correct?
I might. It depends on what happens tomorrow. If there's an additional something to add, otherwise there's no reason to. We're in the process. Jared and Steve are working very hard to get something done, and if there's something that comes up, I'd speak, but otherwise I don't think there's any reason to.
Zelensky's
so
like-
what are the thorniest issues still unresolved after the?
Well, I think the land you're talking about, some of that land has been taken. Some of that land is maybe up for grabs, but it may be taken over the next period of a number of months. And are you better off making a deal now? Look, let me tell you, they have been very brave. They fought very hard and continue to fight very hard and do tremendous damage. But Russia would like to see it end, and Ukraine would like to see it. And I think it's time to end. And a lot of very
Russia
brave
would
people,
like to
a lot
see
of people are dead right now, unfortunately.
Oh, the same bullshit.
As I've said,
once
and
again.
nobody's disputed it, that if the election weren't rigged and stolen, 2020, you wouldn't have had this war. It would have never happened. And it didn't happen for 4 years. Never was even thought to happen.
Of course,
And I spoke
Donald.
with
You're the savior.
President Putin. I got along with him very well, despite the Russia hoax, which was a total hoax. He used
Maybe
to
it's
say,
not the
"What
hoax
is going
after
on
all,
over
as
there?"
we
But
see.
it was a total hoax, as he knew and as I knew. But I spoke to him, and we'd talk about Ukraine. I've said it before. It was the apple of his eye, but he wasn't going to do anything about it. He didn't do anything about it until I was gone, and then a lot of really bad statements were made by people, by a lot of people, I guess, but by a
He
certain
turns it
president
to
that we
election
had
speech, yeah.
who was a
to campaign
disaster.
speech.
Yes.
Do you anticipate going to Ukraine if you can get to an agreement?
Greenland.
I know
I'd
you
have no
said
problem
earlier-
with doing it. I have no problem with doing it. Don't anticipate it. Would like to get the deal done and not necessarily have
I
to go.
misunderstood the
I've
question.
offered to go and speak to their parliament, and if that would help. I don't know if that would help. I think it would probably help, but I don't even know if that's.
You are welcome.
Yeah, no, I know.
Always.
So I'm not sure that it would be really necessary. But
He doesn't want to
if it
go
would
to
help
Ukraine,
save
of course.
25,000 lives a month or whatever it may be, I would certainly be willing to do that. Yeah, please. No, behind you.
Zelensky can't even look at him.
Are you-
Yeah, I
where are
also
you from?
mentioned that.
From Ukraine.
Good, I had a feeling. Good.
How about Zaporizhia nuclear plant? Have you started?
Zaporizhzhia nuclear power
On what?
plant.
Zaporizhzhia nuclear plant.
Yeah, we discussed that at length today. As you know, it's in pretty good shape. It can start up immediately, almost immediately. And it's one of the things I discussed with President Putin. And they were talking about the nuclear plant. That's probably the biggest in the world, just about the biggest anywhere in the world. Can you believe that? And President Putin's actually working with Ukraine on getting it open. He's been very good in that sense. He wants to see that open. And he hasn't hit it with missiles, hasn't hit it with anything. It's a big danger to do that for everybody. But they're working together to try and get it. It can open very quickly. It's in pretty good shape. And the people there have been there for years. The people there running it. You know, they have 5,000 people in that plant. Can you believe it? I learned that today. 5,000 people. It's the biggest plant of its kind in the world. And they're working together to get it open. They could maybe get it open quickly.
But it's clipping.
That's a big
microphone.
step when he's not bombing that plant. It's a big step.
You, in the readout from Moscow, they talked about the creation of some working groups.
Yes.
That would be set. Can you tell us about what
Yeah,
those working groups
working
would
groups
entail?
for economy and
also,
for
if you wouldn't mind,
peace
what is
talks.
the message that you will give to Putin when you speak to him after your meeting?
So the working group is going to be composed of Steve Witkoff, Jared Kushner, General Raisin Kane, Marco Rubio, and a few other people that we're going to be putting onto it. I think Pete Hegseth should be in that working group. He knows the
most
territory very well. He's
competent
been
from
fantastic
all.
at what he's doing.
Oh my God, clown show.
And they may add one or two people. And likewise, Ukraine's going to have some very good people that were at lunch today that enjoyed the lunch.
These
today.
guys yapping Russian
More than they
propaganda.
thought,
Fuck
right?
Trump. Yeah,
But,
agree.
do you wanna
I'll
say
allow
maybe
this
on your
comment.
working group?
Somehow Twitch
We,
blocked it.
now, as I said, that we work with Steve and Jared. We worked our Rustem Umerov and also Deputy Minister Gislitsa and also General Ignatov, and they will continue work in this group.
Yeah.
And of course, if we will go further, and I hope that really we will have decisions in January, as I said, about all these documents, 6 documents, and of course, we will continue work on this, so they know what to do. Yes.
And that working group, by the way, importantly, will also then be working with Russia. Okay? Because to work with ourselves doesn't really solve much of a problem. So they'll be working with Russia. Yeah, please.
Derek?
This morning you weren't a deadline guy. How long do you think it'll take to get this last little bit, as you say, finished? What are we talking
So
about?
if it
days,
went
weeks?
really well, maybe a few weeks. And if it went
2 weeks.
poorly, longer. And if it went really poorly, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
That would be a shame. There's that chance also. It's possible it doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's
But,
possible.
in
It's
a
more
few weeks
possible
we will
than
know
with this attitude.
one way or the other, I think. But if it went really well, but it could also go poorly. I mean, we could have something where one item that you're not thinking about is a big item breaks it up. Look, it's been a very difficult negotiation, very detailed. It's funny. I settled 8 wars. Some were going on for 35 years, and we got them settled in a couple of days.
3,000 years. Come
One
on,
was
say
going
it.
on for 37 years. I settled it in one day.
3,000. Come on, say
This
it.
is a very complex one.
3,000.
What the-
Palestine,
what the,
Israel.
the
Come
I
on.
think we'll get it done.
No.
I don't want to say when, but I think we're going to get it done. Yes, ma'am.
Mr. President, you in the past have suggested a trilateral meeting between both Presidents Putin and Zelensky. Is
Right.
that something that is also on the docket?
I see that happening, sure, at the right time. I saw a very
Zelensky's like, what the fuck is
interesting President Putin today. I mean, he wants to see it happen. He wants to see it. He told me
happening? He's
very
like,
strongly.
he wants to see it happen.
Believe him.
Zelensky is smiling.
Don't forget, we went through the Russia hoax together. And he'd call me, I'd call him, I'd say, can you believe the stuff that they're making up? And it turned out we were right. They made it all up. And despite that, we didn't get into wars or we didn't get into problems, but we weren't able to trade very much or any of that, which was a shame because, a lot of success could have been had by trading with Russia. They have great land, great minerals and other things.
Yeah.
And we have things that they want very badly. But the Russia hoax, which was
He
a
said
terrible,
already
made-up,
third time
fictional
already.
thing by
Yeah?
Crooked Hillary and by Adam Shifty Schiff and bad people, sick people. They made it up. It was all a made-up hoax.
Oh my
But it
God.
kept us really from dealing with Russia, kept Russia dealing, from dealing with us. So, but despite that, we got along, and I don't know. I think we're going to get there. I know him very well. I think we're going to get there.
Discuss any time, location, meeting place?
Yeah, we're discussing a lot of things. No, look. I was on the phone with him for almost, I guess, 2.5 hours. They're just telling me now. It's a long time.
It's
we
1
discussed
hour
a lot of
15
things.
minutes.
We didn't talk about the weather. We weren't talking about what a beautiful day it is in Palm Beach, Florida.
He said 2 hours with something.
Trump, President Zelensky mentioned maybe a meeting with European leaders back in Washington. Would that be in the next few weeks?
Well, in Washington or someplace, yeah. These leaders that I just read, these are great people. They've spent a lot of money on helping Ukraine. And look, they're doing it for themselves also, meaning their country, because Ukraine's a very important country.
Yeah.
For them in particular.
Yeah.
For us,
he's right here.
it's very important. To me, it's the lives. We're thousands and thousands of miles. We're protected by a thing called the Atlantic Ocean.
Again,
And
protected.
lots of other places, to be honest. And
Protected,
they're not,
sealed
they're right there.
protection.
But
Yeah.
we're working together with them as we should be. But I'm doing it to save lives. We're not spending any money. Biden gave $350 billion away. And the president was nice enough to give us a contract to take out rare earth and things. So we'll see how that all works out. We have a contract, but we appreciated that. He was very good. But we'll see how that works out. But if you think about it, we're going to have. I really believe we're probably, Mr. President, by far closer than ever before, with both parties. We had some times when he was close and President Putin wasn't. Then when President Putin was close and he wasn't. You saw that in the White House. But I think they both want to see it happen.
Oh, shit. Bullshit.
You said multiple times that you want to stop the killing, and nearly 100 American citizens died in Ukraine over that.
Yeah.
Their families, whose loved ones.
Well, this idiot flatters himself.
The
Yeah.
message is so obvious. It's
He
what a
said.
shame.
Has he
They
said
died
one
in
new thing?
A foreign country.
Yeah, and it's not a
And,
good thing. I'll tell you
Some
later.
are celebrated people. They're very celebrated. But so sad that a thing like that would happen. Yes, ma'am.
Obviously, security is a major issue for the Ukrainians.
Right.
Did you offer any promises, any assurances today?
Well,
Can you-
I did. We want to work with Europe, and Europe is going to take over a big part of it, as you can imagine. They're right there. But we're going to help Europe 100%, like they'd help us. Yes, ma'am, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, when your conversation...
Who are you with?
Andrea Shala with Reuters.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's
in
what
your
I thought.
conversation with President Putin, did you discuss what responsibility Russia will have for any kind of reconstruction of Ukraine post an agreement?
I did. They're going to be helping. Russia's going to be helping. Russia wants to see Ukraine succeed. Once it sounds a little strange, but I was explaining to the president, President Putin
It's clipping.
was very
again. Come
generous
on.
in his feeling toward Ukraine succeeding, including supplying energy, electricity, and other things at very low prices.
Zelensky
So a lot of good things came out of that call today. But they
like
were in the
what
works
this
for 2
idiot is
weeks
saying.
with Steve and with Jared and Marco.
Oh,
and everybody.
shit.
Did Russia agree, or did Putin agree to a ceasefire to allow a referendum to take
Not a
place?
ceasefire.
Not a ceasefire?
And that's one of the points that we're working on right now. No, not a ceasefire.
Not
He
a
feels
ceasefire.
that, look, they're fighting and to stop, and then if they have to start again, which is a possibility, he doesn't want to be in that position. I understand that position.
So
The
Putin
president
doesn't want
feels
ceasefire.
strongly
It's
about
understandable.
that or something. But I think we're finding ways that we can get around that. But I understand President Putin from that standpoint. You have to understand the other side. And, I'm on the side of peace. I'm on the side of stopping the war. So, but I think that's a problem that's going to get solved. Yeah.
Would people who live
Uh-huh.
outside of Ukrainian
Now we have
tribes
something new.
during the war be allowed to participate in the referendum?
What do you mean, people where live?
The
I mean,
people that left.
refugees
So
who fled to Poland and Germany.
if we speak about the people who are abroad, who are not on the territory of Ukraine, you mean that in Poland, in Germany, we have millions of people. Yeah, they have a referendum in the same of elections. In the same way how people come and vote, they have rights for this. And of course they have to come. That's why if we will come to referendum, yes, if we will come to such decision, people need infrastructure for this, and it's not simple, and that's why we spoke about it. It can't be in one day, very quickly. It's difficult because we need infrastructure. When you have millions of people, you have to build it in Europe, mostly in Europe for today.
President Trump, I know you sound an optimistic note here, but what happens in a few weeks if things sputter? What are you prepared to do?
They keep fighting, and they keep dying. No good. But if things don't happen, they keep fighting, and they keep dying.
Yeah.
And we don't want that to happen. He doesn't want it to happen. President Putin doesn't want it to happen either.
Trump with his actions.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay,
Great.
finally.
Thank you.
Phew. Finally, freaking finally.
I don't know. Was it a good lunch? There's no lunch. He walked in. He said, "This place is gorgeous." I don't think he wants to go to the White House anymore. That's I know we are. It is. It is. The White House is a very special place, and so is this. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
So much.
Thank you, sir.
About nothing. Really about nothing. Nothing burger. Burger nothing. Nothing burger. But what we know that about referendum, that Donald Trump said something about ceasefire. There will be no ceasefire. And I guess today Putin called to Donald Trump, or Donald Trump called to Putin, as the Russian side says. And Putin doesn't want ceasefire. Even on referendum, no. That's something new we understand already. Yep. That's something new. One more new thing is that for Donald Trump, those Ukrainian strikes on the Russian infrastructure absolutely equal Russian strikes on Ukrainian hospitals and civilian buildings. He doesn't make like it was understandable before that for him it doesn't matter whether it's victim or aggressor, but now it's like vividly understandable. If before Melania told Donald Trump that those are terrible explosions in Kyiv and the rest of the cities, and Donald Trump said about it, now he's not even saying about it. For him, Ukraine also strikes Russia, but those are different strikes. And this behavior of Donald Trump, it awards Russia to continue this military escalation. If Ukraine definitely agrees, for example, I understand that it will not agree, but if Ukraine, let's say, potentially agrees on proposal or demands of Russia to give up Donbass, it just awards an aggressor and makes this war longer. The only variant to make it shorter is to support Ukrainian military to physically stop Russia, making them impossible to attack, to propel forward, right? And in this case, Russia will have to go for some real agreement, freezing the war for extensive period of time, for multiple of the years, because Russia will understand that it doesn't have any sort of the resources to continue, right? So that's the only way to physically stop Russia. So again, as expected, those conversations are for nothing. There is no real outcome of those, even between the United States and Ukraine. And nothing is about referendum, nothing about elections, nothing about... Zelensky told about parliament votes, but like it's illegal to vote in parliament for Ukrainian sovereign integrity as well as for referendum. So it's about nothing. And Putin doesn't agree on elections, of course. Referendum, elections, he doesn't agree on ceasefire. That's what we understand. What do you think, guys, about everything of that? Ukraine also have no resources. Yes, but somehow Ukraine fights and Ukraine has the resources. At least some of those. You see, Russia has many more resources, many more economy superpower, military superpower, but still it fucks up in Kupiansk. China is manufacturing powerhouse, 100% support Russia. Yeah, they support Russia a lot. Nothing burger is expected, yeah. Again, we see the same rhetorics from Donald Trump. The only thing that we know already is like Trump's attitude, complete equalization of aggressor and victim, is already evident. Before he was leaning towards condemning those Russian strikes, now absolutely any longer. And the variant that Putin is not willing to ceasefire, even if there is a referendum in Ukraine, even for that measure, he is not willing to ceasefire. That's Donald Trump said. Seems like Trump thinks that this situation is almost like kindergarten fight. Yes, Coxter Mobster, he said about it. He compared like to young kids fighting, yeah. He tells about those casualties, but at the same time, he neglects those casualties, saying about kindergarten, right? Well, for me, it will not have anything until Russia takes Donbass, sadly. And after it depends the losses Russian army. Russia will not stop. They don't need Donbass. Come on. They don't need Crimea. Their goal is Ukraine, and Ukraine is not only the goal. Their goal is wider. Come on. Putin, listen to Putin. Any sort of the freaking interview. Open his interview from yesterday with the military command. Europe is a threat. We are ready for war with Europe if they attack us. We will continue. The goals of the special military operations will be reached. What are the goals of the special military operation? Annexation of Ukraine, making it a puppet state. Are you living in Mars like Donny or what? Then I respect everything you report. I think all here give accurate info. Thank you, Adam. New weapons can defeat the Earth, mankind. Some scientists say yes, some scientists say no. Did you like living in Crimea? It's the best place, please. For me, honestly, it's the best place. Nature and everything, yeah. I like it a lot. As I told in my video, it's the place where I would like to spend my last years of life. And yeah. Agree with all BS. How about give back the 1,000 hard nukes and delivery systems? Yeah, Evelyn, it will not happen. Will Ukrainians agree to give Russia Donbass for peace and referendum? Of course not. And Putin knows that. That's why he is not willing to introduce ceasefire because of referendum. That's what Russian military bloggers also say, that, okay, we're gonna ceasefire, Ukraine will prepare defense for those couple of months, then there will be no shooting, and Ukrainians will vote against giving up Donbass to Russia. The fights will restart, but Ukraine will have the crucial time to regroup the forces and organize defense better. So that's what I read just yesterday on Russian channels, and that's how Putin thinks, I guess. I'm sure about it. And the Ukrainians definitely will not vote for that. Ukrainians want the war to be over, and I think that Donald Trump also tells about those polls that, 90% of Ukrainians, they want this to be over. Yes, no one wants the war. Even Russians, and I guess 90%, they vote for that or support the war to over. But at the same time, Ukrainians do not support capitulation, and giving up Donbass, it's capitulation. It's not the end of war. It makes it worse. It encourages aggressor to get more territories. And why would Russia need Donbass? Come on. They have big Russia. They have everything. They want Donbass is the step to continue attack. That's it. The most defended area, and then they continue more. It's already understandable. If you open the map from 2022, military map, any sort of, you'll see that Russians were close to Kiev. Their goal is Kiev. Their goal is Ukraine, entire Ukrainian territory. This war is not about Donbass. It was never about Donbass. And Putin says about it. Also, how could you give up those territories to Russia with people living there? say, okay, someone comes to you the next day, oh, you'll be Russia tomorrow because Zelensky decided like that, or someone. People live there. Thousands of people in this main defense line still live there in Kramatorsk, Slavyansk. And Ukraine should say to own people, fuck you, go to Russia, or what? They don't want to leave their homes. They spend their lifetimes there. They have everything there, everything. It's... yeah, you understand. Cup? Okay, here is the cup. Someone wants to show to see the cup. Iron Maiden cup. Yay. Russia doesn't even want Donbass. Their aim is the war to fight until Zelensky loses popularity. Yes, credibility. Capturing Donbass is just a means to find the goal. Yeah. They want to create internal instability in Ukraine, dismiss Zelensky, and put their own regime. Yeah. It's not just about Zelensky. It's about any sort of the Ukrainian president. The goal was the same for Poroshenko. There were some of the meetings between Poroshenko and Putin before, attempts to have some of the peace, Minsk agreements, but at the end of the Poroshenko's career as a president, Putin didn't communicate with him at all. Like, for him, it was understandable that this guy is pro-Ukrainian. And we're going to wait for other president. Oh, Zelensky, he is a Russian speaker, original. And he supports also some sort of this peace negotiation with Russia. Let's make him our puppet. But it didn't work. Actually, in the beginning of his career, Zelensky was also populist. And his rhetoric was pretty much the same as Donald Trump's right now. He said that I'm going to speak and negotiate even with the devil for the war to stop. But Putin is worse than devil, it appears. And Zelensky, luckily, he was converted into a real Ukrainian patriot president. And Putin understood that it's impossible to tell Zelensky to betray Ukraine and give it like that. So that's why he started this special military operation. He was offended by Zelensky because he thought that, oh, Zelensky gonna bring us Ukraine. But no, not any close. And even on Russian channels, they told that, oh, Zelensky is the better president than Poroshenko. Even ex-Ukrainian Prime Minister Azarov, who was a right hand of Yanukovych, pro-Russian president, he called from the screens from Russian TV, vote for Zelensky, he's our guy. But then Zelensky came to power, he understood that, oops, we cannot negotiate with Putin. He just wants Ukraine to be part of Russia mainly, and also like Belarus, but we chose the other vector of development. And yeah, he didn't agree on Russian demands. And after it, Putin stopped communicating with Zelensky. And Russia exited agreements, Minsk agreements later on, and started the war, really. Yeah, it's strange that Trump said about 2.5 hours, because the Russian side said 1 hour, 15 minutes, 75 minutes. There was the call between Putin and Trump. He thought Zelensky was a walkover, and what a shock. Yeah, and definitely the rhetorics of Zelensky was like, let's make a peace, like exactly as Trump says right now. Because he wasn't aware about how deep this serious conflict is, I mean, Zelensky. But then he became the president, he understood that, oh, that's the fuck up we have with Putin. And as usual, every sort of the normal Ukrainian president, he said no to demands of Russia to capitulate, and Putin didn't like it, as you see. That's the story of Zelensky. He initially was like this populist politician. Now he's different, it's understandable. I think if he returned back, he would never ever run for president once again. I think so. Yeah, with his presidency, it was COVID, then the war. Jeez. I can't believe I've lived long enough to see Molotov-Ribbentrop 2.2, except this time it's a Vitkov Dmitriev Pinky Promise. Yeah, you're right, Trail. You're 100% correct. Oh, by the way, I started my stream not from the very beginning. I want to check out what they said initially. Like almost at the very beginning, I said, yeah.
Thank you very much. We had a terrific... Well, thank you very much. We had a terrific meeting.
Terrific.
We discussed a lot of things. As you know, I had an excellent phone call with President Putin that lasted for over 2 hours.
He called it excellent for 2 hours, but it's 1 hour and 15 minutes. Here I actually trust Russian side more than Donny. Just a moment, I need to record. Yeah, sorry, I have to run the voice message.
We discussed a lot of points,
Mm-hmm.
and I do think we're getting a lot closer, maybe very close.
Very close to Putin? Or what?
The president and I just spoke to
All right.
the European leaders. They were President Emmanuel Macron of France, President Alexander Stubb of the Republic
shit,
of
what is
Finland,
this?
President Karol Nawrocki of the Republic of Poland, Prime Minister Jonas
Nawrocki?
Gahr
Nawrocki.
Store of the Kingdom of Norway, Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni of the Italian Republic, Prime Minister Keir Starmer of the United Kingdom of Britain and Northern Ireland, Chancellor
Zelensky is like this. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Friedrich Merz,
Merz.
the Federal Republic of Germany, Secretary General Mark Rutte, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, President Ursula von der Leyen of the
Von der
European Commission.
Leyen.
We spoke to all of those great leaders. They're all great leaders. And we had a great talk with them after we were completed. We thought it was appropriate to speak with them. And our meeting was excellent. We covered...
Oh, shit. Just want to move back a little. This, like, our meeting was excellent. Just look at Zelensky.
It was excellent. We covered...
Oh, shit. Really?
Great leaders.
This.
And we had a great talk with them after we were completed. We thought it was appropriate to speak with them. And our meeting was excellent. We covered, somebody would say 95%. I don't know.
Oh, cheers. Yeah. Zelensky just shook his head. Hello. Yeah, our meeting was excellent. Oh, that was funny. That was funny. Hey, how are you guys? Welcome to the stream. Second for today.
We have made a lot of progress on ending that war, which is...
Again, he's shaking. Maybe he's just... but I think it's like body language after all.
Really certainly the most deadly war since World War II, probably the biggest war since World War II. And I want to thank Steve Witkoff, who's here, and I'd like to thank Jared, who's here someplace. Thank you, Jared. And thank you, Steve. What a great job you've done.
And the conference
Jared
is not
Kushner,
that
Steve
long.
Witkoff. And Marco Rubio is here. Thank you, Marco. It's done, but it's very close, certainly. Nobody would even have a chance of getting it to where it is right now. Nobody would have thought that was possible. So I just want to say we've done very well. We've had discussions on just about every subject, and that includes with President Putin. Then we'll speak over the next couple of weeks. We'll speak probably quite a bit, but we'll speak tomorrow. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything. Dear colleagues, first of all, I would like to thank President Trump for a great meeting at this.
That's one already. So I almost started from the beginning. Just skip the most bullshit. Zelensky should yell, "Release the Epstein file." Maybe. President Zelensky's corruption are confused. Not the confused, but oh, we have some trolls. Nice. I'm gonna hide them. Super. Are you doing okay? You have been doing this for a long while. I saw you were getting tired of this. I watch your videos daily. Thank you. Yeah, boxing. Getting a little tired of my job. But what can I do? Nothing. I'm not a troll. Not used only. It's on YouTube. I banned the guy. We're better than this streamer. What? Zelensky has to thank Trump for nothing once again. Yeah, of course. Ozzy, hi. Well, I have trying to catch them. Yay! You have full freedom for that. Trump may wake up one day and support Ukraine. Who knows? Yeah, maybe he will wake up to afterlife. He's getting close to that moment. I do not expect that he will live till the end of his term, honestly. Judging on his decline for the last year, it's tremendous, actually. It's a crazy decline, absolutely. How he behaves, how he sleeps, how he looks terrible. He looks worse than Joe Biden, who is older than him. This job is very stressful. It's incomparably stressful. One of the most stressful jobs out there, to be the president. Even though he tries to relax a little, playing golf and so on, but still it's very stressful. It's not normal job, especially for this age. Then you just go fishing, relaxing and stuff like that, spending the time with the grandkids or even grandkids as in his age. So it's terrible that he decided to go there as a president. I don't think he gonna make it, especially then I saw his legs. They're freaking thick. They're more than feet. There's the legs. That's the photos I saw online. It's crazy. He definitely has the problems with kidneys and so on. Trump needs Botox and fist. Maybe. He looks okay for someone who had a stroke. Yeah, there are some rumors that he had a stroke, and even some doctors are saying like that he's walking like he had a stroke and had some problems with the leg. But I think maybe it's gonna be those are the kidney problems that gives those swallowing of, and the problem of with liquid that cannot be drained out from the legs. My grandma had the same problem. And she lived with it maybe 2 years maximum, yeah. Grandma, I'm sorry. Not grandma, but grandma. Kidney or heart problem, yeah. Denys, what do you do after you think the war Ukraine ends? Do you think you will still make videos? Yeah, I'm sure that I will make videos. I'm sure that I just don't know what kind of videos. I have a dream to make a travel blog So maybe I'm gonna convert this channel where you watch me, or maybe the main one will be about the general news, because there will be always some sort of the confrontation, some stuff happening, yeah. So I might, even though it's mostly about Ukraine, but I already told about the war in Iran, the situation in Syria, how it evolved very fast, and still I got the views even for that topic. So I think I'm gonna just continue with news updates. I can say about any sort of the confrontations. I could tell about, I don't know, escalations in Venezuela and Thailand, Cambodia. I'm not just telling about it because mostly I'm focused on Ukraine, but still I'll have some average views that will allow me to sustain this channel, yeah. And the more views you have, the more monetization you have, yeah, people who support you. So I think I'm gonna focus on, like, that channel could be about news, and this one about traveling, let's say. We'll see if I can manage to make both. Well, for now I'm managing somehow, but I need to film maybe some of the video on this channel, and maybe tomorrow gonna make it. Dump reporter asks about future meeting times and places. She wants to plan her schedule. Yes. Yes. Oh, Jesus. I think she asked about trilateral meeting, maybe between Zelensky, Trump, and Putin. But Putin avoids that, of course. Zelensky agreed on it right away. You should diss Zelensky? Diss? Trump keeps meeting with both. He is doing what he can to stop this war better than Biden. Are you stupid? Jimmy, are you stupid? In what school are you going? School of stupid people? It's okay to take some time out, mate, but yeah, I'm planning maybe to have some time. You should why not an engineer making drones? What do you mean? Why not as engineer making drones? Flying channel, you can go on a ride here in Czech Republic, MiG-15, L-29. Yeah, those are nice planes. Yeah, Czech, they build quite nice airplanes. Let-410, some of the training fighter planes. Yeah, they have pretty much good planes. Zlin planes. Yeah, Czech manufacturing is really good. I like it. Trump is still kissing Putin's ass, I guess. Yep. So what came out after the meeting? Nothing, I assume. Yeah, some of them news, but just minor. Nothing, no breakthrough, absolutely, not even close to that. Thank you, Box. Which country do you live now? If you go to Wikipedia page Denys Davydov, it will tell you. Brother, you sound so tired. Pray you every day. Thank you, Kazagan. Really? I'm tired? Yeah, maybe I am. I woke up today in the morning, roughly at 5 with something. Now it's close to 12, so I'm awake for, for 16 hours or so. Dennis, travel videos would love. Yeah, travel videos are nice. Maybe I'm gonna travel to Russia, who knows? Or the countries which are led from Russia after the civil war is over, right? Putin is a fascist, nationalist, and imperialist ambitions. He said it himself. wants to create a greater Russia of Peter the Great. He said on Russian TV. Yeah, he says it regularly. Only way to end this is to defeat him militarily, unfortunately. Yeah, Hermes monkey. Well, since they have nukes, it's impossible to take Moscow, yeah, with regular armed forces. So Ukraine, or allies, it's better to say, they should do everything possible to physically stop Russia, at least in Ukraine. That's it. That would be enough, I guess. For him not to be like sure that he is capable to reach his goal in military way. That's it. Putin and Trump would make a nice couple. I remember how I was definitely too gentle with Donald Trump, was afraid whether my audience may like Donald Trump as a president, because after all, he's so popular. But even during the elections, before him becoming the president, I was like unhinged, telling different stuff about him. I even have the video where there is a Donald Trump on the thumbnail and big letters, idiot, you know. So for sure, I will not be granted with even tourist visa to visit the United States of America. But just for the next 3 years, not more. And I understand, you know, that just 3,000 people unsubscribe from me. 3,000 people. Like, there was the day, then I filmed that video, Trump is an idiot, something like that. And 3,000 people unsubscribe, and that's it. Like, they're pretty much okay people elsewhere. They don't like Trump. My daughter goes to school, and now she's at this age where they already say about politics, about those kind of the foreign affairs. And in her class, no one likes Donald Trump, absolutely. And no teachers, they like Donald Trump. No one likes Trump. I think in Europe, there are just some marginal people completely sick who like Trump. Nothing burgers. Yes, Ploris Zaitor. Nothing burger. We may just talk. Yeah. Are you learning German language now in Switzerland? Yeah, try to learn it, yeah. Buba likes Trump, yeah. Did Trump keep the sanctions on Putin and maybe enhance them? About enhancement, I don't expect it to be like that, but we never know. Yeah, no one expected those sanctions to be applied on Putin. Yeah, they were applied. But it's also the question about how strong they are, because India started again to sign the contracts with Russian oil companies despite those sanctions, because they saw that their smaller companies, they avoided secondary sanctions, so why not to restart full-scale purchasing Russian oil? That's what they do right now. In the 2 months, they will again purchase almost as much oil as they were before the sanctions. Also, in those sanctions, there are multiple of the exemptions for Hungary, for example, for maybe even Slovakia, for some of the companies that work abroad. So the sanctions are there, but they need constant update, renewal to work. Yeah. How do you think the war will end? The war will end with either collapse of Russian regime or Ukraine. Like, it's the existential war. It's only if we speak about the real end of the war, it's gonna be either collapse of Russian regime and formatation or disintegration of Russia, or collapse of Ukraine. Yeah. Real end of war. The ceasefire, the inability of Russia to continue the war with their resources, and that's it. Stagflation of the Russian economy, that might happen in a few years. But still Russia will have this, while Putin is the president, there is FSB circle in Russia, which put Putin as a president. While they are in power, they will always have this attitude towards Ukraine and towards Europe and towards free world, that those are their enemies, that they need to conquer Ukraine, restore Soviet empire. It's going to be like that until they're alive, until the Russian regime is there. Russia will not stop in Ukraine. Yeah, that's their goal. That's what Putin says, basically. It's very funny, seeing those, even sometimes Russian propagandists, that no, Russia doesn't want to occupy some Baltic states or those, especially Western pro-Russian speakers, English speakers, but pro-Russian. They say, no, Putin just wants Donbass. Ukraine is stupid not agreeing on this deal. Maybe they don't know Russian, because I watch every of the Putin's interview, and almost in every of his interview he says that he wants Ukraine. Like, he openly says that. And the official Russian propaganda TV that shows how they physically occupy Baltic states, how they enter Poland, everything of that is there. And Putin says that we need respect from Europe. Otherwise, we're going to start, like you say, without respect from Western countries, we cannot guarantee the start of the next special military operations. So to avoid those, please respect us. What does it mean, respect? So those stupid dumb fuckers, pro-Russians, they need to listen to Putin personally, and to what they say, and to what Lavrov and others are saying. Yep, they say it openly, their plans. It's not a secret. I'm not making this up that Putin wants this war to escalate or continue or to occupy Ukraine. He's saying about it himself. Come on. The only way Trump understands that this someone needs to take over Mar-a-Lago and tell him that they are keeping his golf course. yeah. Or they won't leave. Yeah. It's like that. The whole structure of the Russian military is flawed, a non-commissioned officer, zero flexible thinking, engagement. Yeah. There are huge problems in Russian army. If Russians attack Suwalki corridor, what is the best way of Lithuanian to escape? There is no escape. If they attack Suwalki corridor, it's going to be blocked. They also going to use their navy to block the Baltic Sea. So if you live in Lithuania, it's better to escape before that start to happen. And it might start to happen from the next year. There is the chance. There is the chance for it. I honestly believe in that in parallel with the Ukrainian war, Putin may start one more military confrontation, block Baltic states, and demand, for example, from European Union countries to stop military support of Ukraine. Okay, we're gonna block you. He will say, we're gonna create this corridor to Kaliningrad just because we need to robust supplyment to our Russians there. By the way, Russians have kind of substantial group in Kaliningrad, also Iskander missiles they have there. And the Russians will make this corridor to happen, and they will say, if you attack our forces or Kaliningrad, we're gonna use tactical nukes. They're gonna say like that. I am absolutely sure. So if you attack our forces, our peaceful peacekeepers, we're gonna nuke Warsaw with tactical nuke or something like that. Also, they have a crazy Lukashenko dictator Belarus for that purpose, who already has nukes. So it's like, in any case, they may say it's Belarus, it's not Russia. It's Belarus protected as an allied state. They protected our forces in Kaliningrad, so they fired nuclear missile to you. And Lukashenko is there just because Russia let it happen. Otherwise, he would have been dismissed in 2020. Then there were protests in Belarus, so he was saved by Putin, and now Lukashenko is just a Russian puppet, nothing more. They're gonna play this scenario, and they might say, okay, if you want this blockade of the Baltic states to be released, stop support Ukraine. Supporting Ukraine, and you're gonna be fine, we promise. We'll see. So it's like one of the variants why Putin wants to make those special military operation once again. Well, at least, yeah. That's what they say on Russian TV. They are not saying that they're gonna blackmail Europe to cancel the military support for Ukraine, but they really showed this possible scenario. I think I can find it on YouTube. Russian media. Oh yeah. Why the image quality is so bad? Well, we have what we have.
How to capture a Baltic region? Russia gives a massive radioelectronic suppressive strike to suppress all the assets of the electronic assets of the Western military region. And
this is Russian TV, just for you to understand. Official Russian TV, Russia 24 or something like that.
The Baltic Fleet. NATO radars are blind, they can't see anything. At the same time, on the territory of the Swedish island Gotland, Russian military transport planes land, delivering anti-aircraft systems S-400 and coastal defense missiles, Bastions. They deploy on the island while nobody can see anything. The West is guessing why our radars are switched off. At the same moment, here is the Suwalkovsky corridor,
Suwalki,
a Kaliningrad group of the Russian army and Belarus armed forces. They block Suwalkovsky corridor, merge together, and isolate NATO and Poland from the Baltic states. At the very same moment, in Tallinn, Riga, and Vilnius, there are suddenly polite people appear, cheerfully welcomed by local population who don't welcome them, they just lock themselves in their apartments. And at the same time, from the territory of Western military region, the military troops invade Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. At this moment, we switch off radioelectronic suppressive measures, and the West and NATO learn to their astonishment that Russia announced no-fly zone with a 400 kilometers radius around Gotland Island, and all the Baltic Sea is controlled by Russian weapons.
Yeah, that's what they tell openly on Russian TV. Like in one of the program, they just play out this story. Yeah. Well, I don't think that they have the electronic suppressive systems, what they say, capable to blind all of the NATO raiders. That's the fairy tale, of course. but they will have enough forces to cut in Suwalki corridor, and they may deploy their navy in the Baltic Sea. So basically, the blockade itself is possible, really possible. This crap is just for internal audience. Yeah, but they are preparing in the internal audience in this case. Yeah, Glumberson, thanks. Such a simple, worthless plan. When with NATO capabilities and with the reaction on all of those provocations, on those Russian drones, on the Russian jets, something tells me that this plan might work. Unfortunately. Nick Butcher, thank you for what? For following. Thank you. It's like watching Trump's speeches, same thing, yeah. Yeah, we're back. Shade. Poland will level Kaliningrad. I have no doubts about it, but Russia will say we're going to use tactical nukes. And we'll see if Poland really might launch any sort of the shell if Russia would go to Suwalki corridor, not via Poland territory, but through Lithuania. Like, the fights will not happen on territory of Poland, because after all, Poland has a strong army. They may level Kaliningrad, it's understandable, but Russia will blackmail those Polish politicians. And do you think that they're gonna risk with nuclear strike on Warsaw? I don't think so. So they may, of course, say that we're gonna level off Kaliningrad and so on, but they will not do it. Nuclear weaponry matters. Yeah, well, Poland says they will do it. Yeah, of course they will say that they will do it right now. But what might happen if it really gonna be a real thing happening? I don't think they will do it, honestly. Especially in Poland, let's say the government, it's not solid. It's a little split. President, prime minister, they think a little differently. It's like being on the age of the tragedy, such a Hitler, yet our president is acting like nothing is happening. Yeah. I don't think it's possible with Poland buying weapons everywhere and border lines are being prepared for war. Don't ignore Sweden and Finland either. Clothes. I hope. Thanks for support of the channel, by the way. I hope that, yes. I hope that there will be a response, but what NATO has done recently, again, responding on those provocations, not shutting down even a single drone outside Poland. Yeah, there was a single attack with lots of the drones, 19 of them, 4 were shut down, but the rest, after it, there were the rest of the drones, and they fly regularly. Everything is okay. Okay, they fly over Brussels air base in Brussels. They fly over air base in Germany. What officials say? Oh, they do not possess any threat. Oh, okay. Rutte says, oh, those Russian jets, they do not possess any threat. Okay. So the same story will be with NATO troops in Kaliningrad, I guess. So, honestly, I do not expect that NATO will react on that harshly, bombing Kaliningrad or something, because simply Russia has nukes. And Putin knows that. Well, it's always a risk, yeah. I'm saying here, like some sort of the expert, so-called, and just a crazy guy with a microphone with his own opinion. But for Putin, I think it's after all risky, because it's NATO alliance. No one ever tried to escalate against NATO alliance. It's a little unknown territory. But this reaction of NATO and reaction of Donald Trump, who says, oh, let Europe deal with it alone, it encourages Putin to try. And we all see it. It's not good. Poland has no nukes, yeah. Yeah. They asked United States to deploy nukes. United States nukes, but United States said no. I think Novrotsky asked about it right after he became the president, and the United States said no, no, no. NATO might not react, but European armies will. Then Russia tries something with Latvia or Baltic Sea. Skovto, do you really believe in that? I wouldn't be so sure. No, Poland doesn't have nukes. The world order and the world security is crushed. Mostly by Donald Trump, actually. By Putin and Donald Trump. No one knows for sure whether what country may protect what country. So I wouldn't be 100% sure on common reaction of, well, you're sure it's good. Are you living in Baltic states or? If I used to live in Baltic states, I would be very concerned. Very, very. I think this winter I would do something about it if I was living there. I don't think United States would launch nukes for of course, they will not launch nukes for France, for Germany. No. they don't care about Europe any longer with Donald Trump. France 125 land launcher. Yeah, the only power there really in Europe is UK and France. Mostly France, because France is the part of EU also. They have closer ties with, let's say, European states. Why exactly don't you think NATO would come to help the Baltics, Denys? I live in the Baltic states. Well, the logic, yeah. Who would like to challenge being attacked by at least tactical nuclear weapons? Like the scenario I told you. Have you listened to it? Like Putin will take Suwalki corridor and he will tell, if you attack our forces in Kaliningrad, we're gonna nuke you. Who will start nuclear war? Or, yeah, Russia will start in this case, but who would escalate to that? By defending those Baltic states. Do you really think that there will be someone, Sweden, Poland, Finland, to join this confrontation? I don't think so. I think that NATO is not capable to protect itself. That I would bet on that. I'm not 100% sure, but I would, if I was like have a bet, I would bet on NATO would not protect Baltic countries. That's what my bet would be, unfortunately. With this blackmail from Russia with nuclear weapons, yeah. And today I read the article from Swiss media NZZ. They have their analytics, and they also tell the same story that Putin may escalate even to nuclear weapons, threaten some of the countries, and he might escalate to Europe as well. So the same story as I tell you. I disagree. Okay, we'll see soon. Next year, maybe 2027. NATO will honor their obligations. Have you read the Article 5? We can read it together. Okay. Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty states that an armed attack against one NATO member shall be considered an attack against all members and triggered an obligation for each member to come to its assistance. Assistance. What kind of the assistance? This assistance may or may not involve the use of armed forces. Oh, shit. What is this? May not involve? Or may involve? Or may not involve? Oh, so maybe it's a bullshit article. And can include any action that allies deem necessary to resolve and maintain the security of the North Atlantic area. I would tweet something. I support you on Twitter. Is it enough to... Is it the action that deemed necessary? Maybe. NATO's 5 articles contest with Article 51, the United Nations Charter, which recognizes the state that the victim of the armed attack has the inherent right to individual or collective self-defense. So individual or collective, Baltics, you may protect yourself individually or collectively, but we may or may not involve our armed forces. Budapest Memorandum 2.0, maybe Budapest was even stronger one. And may request others, those who attacked may request or may not request others to come to his assistance within the NATO Article 5. Translates this right of self-defense into mutual assistance obligation. NATO invoked Article 5 for the first and only time in its history after 9/11. Okay, so it's the regions of Article 5. So you see, yeah, may not deploy, maybe deploy. So it's a bullshit, basically. The only thing with NATO was that it was the mutual agreement of the countries to defend against Soviet empire during those times. But now the world order is broken down and this security guarantee is no more. It doesn't exist. NATO is... That's it. Europe should create its own common army. Without it, Europe is fucked. Article 5 won't directly involve other nations in attack. The troops that NATO members have stationed are the trip where... you mean that some of the forces, some of the countries deployed their armies in Baltic states, and if they're getting attacked, there will be... those countries with those soldiers bases, they will join. Okay, I understand you. Yeah, for example, German bases out there in Lithuania, and if Russia attacks them, Germany will join. But Russia will not attack those bases. No worries. They will just go to Suwalki corridor. They will block those Germans or whoever is there, and that's it. They will not directly attack those. They're not stupid. They say by 2030 the European Union will have their own army. Yeah, it's gonna be a big deal, I hope. But I'm not sure whether, for example, Orban supports this European army or Fico. So it's complicated in EU to reach some sort of the agreement. You see, European Union has everything. They have common economy, currency, common even parliament, European Commission and everything. But they don't have their army. It's bad, very bad. Denys, I hope you're wrong about your review about the future of Baltic states, but all you're saying sounds absolutely logical. I really hope you're wrong. Yeah, I also hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong, but we're gonna see. Yeah, maximum 2027. I would bet on that. Like 2026, maybe. Russia may start this special military operation, or 2027. Everything goes according to this scenario. Orban will not make it as Hungarian president in 2030 anyway. I hope so, yeah. But you see, the urbanization of Europe is still happening. The Czech prime minister is very strange. Also, in Romania, that guy was nearly like still there are the forces which are not okay in Europe. And they are getting a lot of the support, sadly. So with Orban, I hope he will be gone, but there could be new Orbans, unfortunately. Like Fico erupted, rapidly in Slovakia. No, I don't want to go to politics at all. Do you think if the war were to last another year, Russia wouldn't economically collapse? I recorded the video today. I'm going to publish it tomorrow morning. I think Russia requires lots of the time to collapse, unfortunately, like 10 years at least, their economy. They still can struggling, but continue the war, unfortunately. Thank you for the tip. $50, so how much is that? $50 from Anonymous. Are you crazy? Anonymous. Thank you so much. Damn, you're crazy, Anonymous. Come on. Well, thanks. Thanks for generosity, for support. Where is Rutte? He's in Europe somewhere. He was mentioned today by Donny. Do you think Russia can open the second front while they're stuck in Ukraine? Yeah, second front, not that much as in Ukraine, not a full-scale frontal operations as they do in Ukraine. Just some of the special military operation, real special military operation, like in Suwalki Corridor, like what they said on Russian TV. For that, they don't need hundreds of thousands of the forces. Up to 100,000 is pretty much okay to block entire Baltic states. I think they can do it, and they might use this operation to blackmail Europe for them to cancel the military support of Ukraine. It's like one of the variants. I think it's on the table. I'm sure about it. It's on the table of Putin. Otherwise, he would not be saying about Baltic states, and Russian propaganda wouldn't say about it, and himself, Putin, wouldn't say about bad Europe and how they might start those special military operations. We need to listen to what he says. And he really tells his plans ahead. Even with Ukraine, I remember how few months before the start of this full-scale aggression war against Ukraine, Putin published his historical view on Ukraine, of how Ukraine doesn't exist. It was made up by Lenin, and Russia, Ukraine is the common nation. So it was his manifest. They like to write those manifests, those dictators. Like Adolf Hitler wrote everything in Mein Kampf, and Putin wrote his own historical manifest separately. So yeah, with Europe, it's gonna be the same. We're gonna see those signs from Putin, and we just need to believe in that. They already, I would say, started with him saying about Europe. So far, the threats towards EU, NATO have been empty. Really? Are 19 drones empty? Yeah, they were empty. No warheads, it seems like, inside, but still they entered NATO, showing the incapability of NATO forces to shut down those drones. Just 4 out of 19. It's terrible. If Russia launches at least a single attack, what they launch on Ukraine, that's gonna create chaos in Poland, in Baltics. Vikings can come. What? Hi, Amanda. Yeah, Europeans need own army, a stronger government, and most important, skipping the veto rights. Yeah, also strange rights with veto, but this Russia chose the West as the enemy because it did not respect a threat. Russia needs an enemy because otherwise Russians may ask why life is better elsewhere, and that would be big problem. Yes, Tony, I agree with you. And one of the reasons why Russia started this general escalation, occupation of Crimea, etc., is because Ukrainians chose the different vector of development to get away from Russia and to start cooperation and unification with Europe, with the European Union and so on. What are your thoughts on the corruption affecting Zelensky closer? It's a shame, JC, what is happening there. It's a shame. I already recorded like separate video about that one. It's not over. They're gonna uncover lots of the stuff. Not lose hope as much, Denys. Everyone know truly would act if the Baltics needed help. We'll see old Morden. Like, I'm very disappointed in general about NATO and about their reactions. So, yeah, that's why I'm saying maybe like that. I'm disappointed about the United States. They abandoned Europe, and that's it. What you like? You like Switzerland, and what you don't like in Switzerland? I don't know. I need to record separate video. I cannot answer just like that. What about Moldova? In Moldova, Russia cannot do anything. They have just a limited group of the army, or they call those peacekeepers in Transnistria. It's basically landlocked territory. They cannot do anything. They cannot supply without supplies there. They cannot act. And the forces are not enough in Transnistria to operate even for some of the provocations. Maximum 3,000 soldiers there. Not just the soldiers, militia forces, let's call them like that. So absolutely not a threat for Moldova, not a threat for Ukraine, and Ukraine in any case may help Moldova because it's very close. So Moldova, only if Russia occupies Odessa, but it's not possible. Now it sounds silly. I really want a drone to fly over London, and we can catapult a lime bike at it. Oh my god. Good evening, Midas of Sweden. Did I miss anything so far? I don't know. You can scroll back in time and check it out. Trump is not a fool. Really? Yeah, I agree with you. He is not a fool. He is an idiot. Denys, do you think Israel should annex Gaza? I feel like they're the same as Russia there. No, I don't think that Israel should annex Gaza. I'm against any sort of the annexations. Denys, does Transnistria get EU news or just Russian news? It's hard to say. I've never been there, so I'm not sure. I think that they have like the free. They're not in under Iron Curtain or something. I think they have like internet and everything, so it's pretty much okay. Then it says from South Africa, most with Ukraine we have Daniel making shells for you, government corrupt. Okay, box. Thank you so much. Greetings to South Africa. Is Canada 51st state yet? Please, come on. Looks like not yet, judging on their flag still not changed. Moldova has applied for EU. Yeah, they're in the same, I guess, in the same queue as Ukraine. Moldova. But I think they have better chances because there is no war. Will Ukraine be able to arrest those corrupt officials who fled to Israel? What happened there? Let me show you. So actually, the guys, the journalists, they already found this Mindich. This is the Ukrainskaya Pravda journalist. I wonder if we have dubs. Voice boost, stable volume, no, just subtitles. We don't have dubbing. Subtitles options. Can we change the languaging? Why it's like applies to the current video? Just come on. I need to just a moment. I'm sorry. I wonder why there is no English like even available. Well, in any case, I can translate for you, so it's not a problem. So our journalist went there.
Неодноразово наголошували, за інформацією наших джерел, переховуються від НАБУ і САП.
So he is hiding, like Mindich is hiding somewhere, and they found the guy. This Mindich, where is he? Oh, first of all, they found this Zuckerman. He's so ugly.
Пане Чернишову. Не пам'ятаю. Не пам'ятаю. Йде пан Цукерман.
Pan Zuckerman. So Zuckerman, this is the corrupt official that fled together with Mindich. It's in Tel Aviv, Israel. he tries to run away.
Пане Цукерман. Доброго дня. Михайло Ткач, український.
Like good day. This is Mikhail Tkach from Ukrainskaya Pravda.
Правда. Скажіть, будь ласка, в Україні вас заарештовано за підозрою в легалізації
You're being arrested in Ukraine for
коштів, називають НАБУ і САП.
For corruption schemes.
В рамках операції Мідас вас головним.
So they found him, like Zuckerman. They found, by the way, the watches are Patek Philippe. I don't know how much this particular model costs, but they could be $500,000 sometimes.
А хто входив в цей інтелектуальний клуб?
Ну, это не важно. Что такое интеллектуальный клуб? Сели, поговорили, пообщались.
So they found one guy, and they found Mindich also.
Пане Міндіч, доброго дня.
Вітаю вас, рад бачити.
Михайло Ткач, Українська Правда. Шукали вас. В Україні вас шукають, знаєте?
You've been searched in Ukraine, you know. So both of those are Zelensky's friends. That's embarrassing, actually. And not long time ago, I think it was a couple of days ago, NABU also uncovered a corruption scheme within the Ukrainian parliament. And there was also Zelensky's friend involved. Yuzik. They played comedy shows together for decades. So journalists could found those, but yeah, Israel will not deport those people, of course, because they're Israeli citizens. That's it. But our journalists, they found those. Interesting. They're very capable. Sometimes even more capable than police. Israel won't extradite them to Ukraine. Of course, those are Israeli citizens. How can Israel extradite its own citizens to Ukraine? It's against the policy of Israel. So, yeah, there Mindich and Zuckerman and who else was there who left Ukraine, they all live their best lives with tons of money. So yeah, that's what we have, guys. Unfortunately, with this corruption, you ask, I answered. Yeah, I watched some Ukrainian media too, and I know what is happening. So just for you to understand. Oh, we also have 1,000 views. Oh man, those streams are so popular. Then we speak about Trump. Imagine Putin's friends. Yeah, Putin's friends will never get prosecuted. At least in Ukraine, it's possible. SBU should send their agent. Maybe, yeah. Was anything major said in the meeting? I missed it. No. Some of the minor news, I would say, but nothing special. So guys, I think it's enough for today. Couple of the streams, totally almost 4 hours, yeah. Well, 3 hours, 40 minutes, something like this. So thank you for joining me. Tomorrow, one more stream, and now I will publish the video update about Ukraine. So join my main channel, Denys Davydov, to watch for the video, okay? I will publish it right now after I finish. So please join the channel to watch, okay? New update, awesome news for today. I wouldn't say like they're good news in general about territories, but awesome news for saving of the Ukrainian lives. Finally, decision was made and Ukraine withdrew the forces from Mirnograd. Fantastic operations with 0 losses from Ukrainian side was conducted 1 day before Christmas and a couple of days after. Brilliant operation, magical one, outstanding. So, thank you guys. Cheers and ciao. Bye.